Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Authentic Conversations. If this is your first time joining us, I am Amadelis, and I'm here with my co host, Susan. Hey, Susan.
Hey, Amaryllis, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. It's so great to be back here for our regulars. I know that it's been a minute. Sometimes taking the pause, it's all in the pause.
Yeah, sometimes, life gets in the way or, we're in transition, moving from something towards something else. I mean, we're always growing, right? So transition is part of growth. And, sometimes we have to let go and create space in order to be able to come back in better space. So,
Absolutely. So, if for us, this whole channel has always been about just sharing us and who we are and our journey of life. And we just had a conversation about that with this all this energy that's happening in November, new year coming up, last month, the last new full moon, so much energy. And I feel like one of the things that has been coming arising for me, Susan, personally, it's been this stop hiding who you are.
hmm, authenticity. It's called authentic conversations for a reason, right? But just really allowing your light to shine. And I think what happens is we get so caught up in what other people are doing or what other people might think that we forget to listen to our own inner guidance system. We forget to notice who we are. So I talk a lot about observation, right? So awareness is observation, right? So if I'm aware of something, I'm observing what's happening outside of me, but then I'm noticing what's happening inside of me. So the observation part is the awareness of the external. The noticing is the awareness of the internal, right? So observational is clinical and it can be judgmental, right? So we see that and they're like, why don't they paint their house? How come they've got, this? What were they thinking when they did that? Like, those are observations we're making. Why aren't they, doing better than they are? Or why is somebody, acting the way they are? Observation. Noticing is how I'm internalizing the observation, right? So I want to notice how I'm responding on the inside to what's happening on the outside. And if I'm being super judgmental, then I've got to bring that awareness in and I've got to notice what it is about me, right? What it is that I'm feeling, maybe misaligned with who I authentically am, or, jealous or frustrated or angry. And I have to draw that noticing back to me so that I can choose how to respond to that internally. And when I respond internally, it's what comes out of me.
Absolutely. And when we stop judging ourselves in being in the mind and go back to the heart and what lights us up, this is the message that's been coming through to me this whole entire time. Go back to your authentic self. What makes you happy? Slow down. Don't judge.
Live
Stop
your
getting out of
life.
your mind.
Live your life, right? So your truest life is the one that you are when you're most aligned with what's important to you. So if we get caught up on what everyone else thinks or what everyone else is going to say or how everyone else might judge us, we would never do anything, right? We would never do anything for fear of judgment, fear of condemnation, fear of somebody not liking what we say or who we are. You know, it's not about them. It's not about the observation. of what might happen if I follow my true path, or if I quit my job, or if I leave my marriage, or if I, choose a partner that's the same sex as me. Like it's not about the observation of how others might respond. It's about the noticing of knowing what's right for you. So we've got to stop worrying more about the external and start noticing more about the internal. If we so how do you tap into your inner guidance system? How do you tap into your knowing? How do you tap into who you really are? Like, how do you find yourself? It's in quiet and stillness. And a lot of times it's under pressure or duress. Right? So it's not like all of a sudden I'm just gonna like comfortably waltz my way into my authentic version of myself and be like, yep, here I am. It's like, oh my goodness, something is going on. I am super uncomfortable. I need to reevaluate. I need to tune out the external noise so that I could tune into the internal noticing, desires, awarenesses, understanding. So if I don't dial it in, right, if I don't find quiet in my discomfort and lean into that discomfort and dial it all inward, worry less about what everyone else is doing or thinking, and dial it inward, I'm not going to find that. I'm not going to plug into my inner guidance system. I'm not going to hear, right, what the very essence of myself is telling myself. All these experiences that my soul has had over how many lifetimes, I don't know. If I'm not plugging into that, then I am just ignoring it. And if I'm ignoring it, then I'm a chess piece that someone else is moving. I'm a pawn in a chess game, and I'm moving under the direction of other people because I'm choosing to ignore my inner guidance system because I
Mm.
don't know how to connect to it. So wait, let's go back to how do we connect to it?
How to reconnect to it?
Stillness, stillness. In times of misalignment where we feel uncomfortable, we have to sit with ourselves. We have to lean into the discomfort of growth. And we have to know if we are going to become a better version of ourselves, then we have to be aware of who we are inside of ourselves, not the perception from the outside, not the social media view, not the view that your next door neighbor has of you, right? It's like when stuff gets real, where do you dig? Not a hole in the backyard, right? You got to dig in. You got to dig in your heels, listen, breathe, notice, be okay with your thoughts, be okay with your feelings, and then be okay with the choices that you make as a result of the awareness of your thoughts and feelings.
And be okay with the fact that you might have to reset multiple times because
Yeah.
that is the life journey. I want to nip that because a lot of us get down on ourselves and say, well, I thought I had it. I thought I liked this job. And then I went there and it wasn't that. Or I thought it was this and it wasn't that. Well, that's okay. It
Yeah.
is okay that it wasn't that because you tried it, you went for it, and now you know it's not that.
You have to be okay with not being okay, first and foremost.
Mm.
And second, right, you have to be okay with figuring out what you don't want in order for it to become more clear about what you do want. So we have these ideas about if I have more money, if I have more fame, if I have more time, if I have more whatever, it's going to be the answer. Some of it might be. But it's okay if it's not the answer because then it narrows down things so that the answer becomes more clear. So clarity comes in the calm, the stillness, the quiet, under duress, right? When we're uncomfortable, the authenticity starts to shine. It starts to show itself because you start to lose the idea that you're performing for others and reconnect with the idea that you're performing within yourself to find joy, to find satisfaction, to find what motivates you and what lights you up and what it is that feels important to you. It's a noticing. I want to notice when I feel good about something or someone says something and it makes sense to me, I want to notice that. I want to internalize that. If my old beliefs are no longer like helping me grow, I want to be able to thank them for being there for me and then let them be replaced with something that is a little more contemporary or matches up with who I am now. Yeah, we gotta be okay with not being okay. I'm not okay right now. I will be okay. I'm not okay right now. I will be okay. But I gotta start to notice. And am I not okay in the eyes of whom? Because really, I'm always all right. It's just I'm not feeling okay right now because of the misalignments. But the discomfort or the not feeling okay is what's going to force me to move so that I can get back to what's true to me. Authenticity.
So one exercise that I love to do, Suzanne, that brings me back to the moment, because we're talking about being in the moment, sometimes getting outside of our head. And, we do go in autopilot. We go to work and where we do that role. And then,
Groundhog Day.
right.
Mhm.
When you're feeling a little bit out of like, okay, I'm feeling too much energy or I'm feeling a little bit lost, one thing I love to do is kind of just stop to bring me back into the moment and find four items or three that are in my space. Awareness of looking, things that are texture that I could feel, that I can see, and then saying it out loud. I see a TV, my desk is here, I feel my chair, and then just come back to being right here, guys, because sometimes we're so in the future or we're so far in the past that we're not just right here in this
Yes.
moment that we
So
are having.
when we draw our attention to the observation, right? We talked about observation and the awareness of observation and the awareness of noticing. So when we draw our attention to observation, observing something, we take the focus off of everything else. We can also take it one step further and connect it to a knowing, right? So I might see a piece of amethyst on my desk. There happens to be a piece of amethyst. There it is on my desk. I might see that piece of amethyst on my desk. And so I can say, oh, that amethyst is on my desk, and that's on my desk right now because I can see it. And then I might ask myself, wow, what does that amethyst remind me of inside of me? Right? Beauty, light, color, sturdy, withstood the test of time, did all those things. So then I can have an observation and I can have a noticing. And, so I can not only bring myself back to being present, but I can also connect one level deeper into myself. It's an excavation, folks, where everything we see on the outside is designed to mirror back or come back to what it is that I can do better for me on the inside.
And while we're doing that, let's also observe how are we giving back our light? Because sharing the light will light you back up and realize what you love. What hobby do you like? How do you give back? How, because when you're centered and you're in your moment and you're happy, guys, you will be centered to help somebody, even if it's for a small interaction. 1 second. We are all connected. We are all one. We've talked about this in the laws of the universe. And it brings me back to this oneness and with the holidays and all of this energy that's happening around us. What do you want to give back? Because our gifts don't have to be monetary. Our gifts is our presence of, let me teach this kid how to ride a bike, or let me help my neighbor lawn the grass.
Yes, it's an exchange of energy, and as long as it's going in both ways. So if I feel good about what it is that I'm offering and the person feels good about what it is that they're receiving, we both win. We both win. If I'm giving and there's no gratitude, or noticing, or and sometimes that happens. We give and we don't get anything in return. It's okay sometimes, but we can't let that become a habit either. We're not giving to get observed as being the giver. We're giving because it's altruistic, and in the giving, I'm receiving.
Yes, I want people to give their this moment that we do is our gift back to the universe.
Yes.
Because we know for sure that if one person listens to this podcast and we are able to relight their candle and their light in them, that's
Was
that's
worth
the
the
gift.
time and energy that we invested 100%, tenfold, tenfold. And,
Yeah.
it's not about even us recognizing or knowing, that someone was touched by it. It's really nice when you get a golden
Yeah.
ticket or a nugget back, but we don't do it for that. We do it so that people have a space to be able to, be introspective or learn new things about themselves. Um, but the exchange is still there. So whether it's a direct exchange or a one-on-one or it's an indirect exchange, doesn't matter. Energetically, we're all winning.
Yes, we are. Anything else for wrapping up with this new end of the year energy, Susan?
Oh, wrapping up, I'm thinking about the gift giving season. Don't overgive. Again, it's not about the observable gifts. It's about the idea that the person is important enough to you that you would like to share a trinket or a nugget or an experience or an opportunity, or a small gift. Don't overspend. Don't go, into crazy amounts of negative energy sucking debt for the beginning of next year. Just, stay within the frameworks of your budget and, give from your heart. And sometimes, like I said, that's experiences, sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's, physical gifts. But there are, just like there's ways to give, just keep that in mind at the holidays because again, we don't want to suck ourselves dry by offering everything and not, staying true to who we are and what it is that we have. So that's it.
All right, guys. Well, we wish you guys all a wonderful, wonderful end of the month with your family or those that are going to be around you that you decide to spend Thanksgiving that's coming up. And then I'm sure we'll be back before the holidays again.
For sure, for sure. And Morellis, it was great catching up with you. Thank you. And we'll see you guys when we see you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.